Indeed, it is the transformation zone from What It Takes Radio, the station that is here to help you make your mark in the broadcast world. And the transformation zone begins again today with this program. Here we go with a teaser about a program where we will give advice to the presidential candidates. That's yet to come. That'll be later. And then a wonderful gift to me in a thrift store. And the big deal, AI might be able to do this to help you and me be more successful, in fact, even transformed as we go into the new year. Greetings once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is another edition of Interesting Ideas as we also increase our podcasting work. We are going to take the transformation zone and make it into a separate program, kind of like the old Twilight Zone. And we're going to have a lot more of you helping us do programs about what it takes to live a transformed life. To not just be different by degree, but perhaps different in kind. And of course, our challenge is that right now, as we are in the first days of the new year, remember, we're beginning the new year with the traditional Jewish celebration of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and now the election in America is going to be the start, perhaps, of some new beginnings in some ways, and perhaps some leaving behind some old ways in some ways, or who knows what it will be. One of the points I'm going to mention just briefly is one that I learned from one of my colleagues, friends. His name is Steve, and he's done a lot of work on what we call the team, the executive appointment model. And it's one about how we as executive leaders need to be very good at appointing people on our team. And we have a suggestion for both Kamala and Donald Trump that will be, I think, kind of helpful if they would happen to listen to the point of view that we have in just a few moments. So we will see. And then we will begin to think about how we will make our life different in some ways going forward. And that's what we're about. 10 or 12, 15, no more than 20 minutes, like the old TED Talk, the brand new TED Talk, or the right now, we call it the Transformation Conversations. That's right. What we need is transformation conversations, and that's what we are going to be about. And hopefully you'll be helping us all to do some transformed living. By the way, it's always nice when something happens to you that wasn't expected. And I just have to do this, okay? Because it was a lot of fun. I watch money, I have to. And so I'm very much of a rescue person, I one time asked the question, it was on our program about Jesus the entrepreneur, and I said, well, do you think Jesus would have had a dog? And of course, well, I think he would. And of course, then there was a wonderful conversation, which was what I was trying to do, is to get people to talk about their dogs, which people do, and what they thought. And of course, the best answer came right away from a woman who said, absolutely, he would have had a dog, and it would have been a mutt. It would have been a rescue dog. Of course. That's exactly what he would do. He would be in the rescue business. So those are kind of fun games to play from time to time as we try to lighten the load of some of the things that we are seeing in our world today. There's a lot of things to be unhappy about, and there's a lot of things to be very sad about. However, as one of my mentors said, when you can, make sure that even though it is sad, that you try and leave behind, and that means don't take it with you, your sad presence. As you walk into the public square, see if you can be different, that you are not carrying a sad presence with you into the marketplace, and perhaps even into our conversation together. But this was fun. I went and I was going through a thrift shop. I love to go through thrift shops with my wife, and this one particularly had a nice selection of men's clothing. And I found a you know, very. I've lost about 40 pounds, so some of my coats are too big, and some of my pants are too big. So I'm trying to, get newer clothes. And I found a sports coat that was really very nice. I looked at it; it was a brand name, and I tried it on, and it looked nice. My wife said, "Wow, that's a good-looking coat." And she said, "Well, how much is it?" And I said, "$7.95." She said, "$7.95? Take it, of course." And we did. And it's not this one. And this is still a nice one, I think. But it was a nice coat. But then as I'm going through the pockets, I find the new price tag. I mean, the price tag for somebody who bought it new. Okay. And here it is, $695. Now, I would never, never pay anywhere near that much for a sport coat. I'm not so sure that one was worth that much, but that was the retail price. Here it is. You can't see it, of course. $695, and I got it for $7.95. And as I try and tell some of the people who run the marketing point at these thrift shops, what you need to do is have these spectacular deals where you highlight stories of people who found something that was really wonderful at an incredible price. And you highlight that, that's kind of like winning the lottery a little bit. Oh my goodness, look what I got for this amount. And it is those kinds of little experiences um, that, as I oftentimes say, maybe a kind of a special gift event, from the creator of the universe. You had a special gift come your way, a special gift event, a special God event. And part of living in the transformation zone is to come to the point where you are looking for, expecting those, and seeking to have experiences and ways that you can live more fully alive by adopting a transformation zone view of life and living. And some amazing things could happen. Now, I've also discovered, and I mentioned this just yesterday, is that in effect, I've worked very hard recently to finally, like a lot of you keep saying you're going to do, I want to understand AI better. Now, I'm suspicious of any new technology, and we should be. Technology always has a tendency, as one of my mentors said, it always has a technology tendency to go toward the things that are not very good. They'll be captured, just like, when the internet first came out, what happened was it was and still is full of pornography. That was one of the first things that it captured. It actually put what we used to call the girly magazines out of business because everybody could, if they were into that kind of stuff, and obviously, unfortunately, a lot of people are, mostly men, they could get their thrills or whatever they get from that kind of adventure in their life or that kind of addiction, which is what it is in their life. They could get it for free on the internet. So obviously, technology needs to always be bent back by good men and women who are taking the technology and finding ways to kind of make sure that it is used for good things and not for bad things. And of course, the problem with artificial intelligence is in many, many ways, it has made evil people more efficient in doing their evil work. And so I've made a point to try and figure out how I can know more about it and how to use it and how to make it more effective in my life and business. And I have to say, at my age and stage, there are very few things that will surprise me, good or bad, and very few things that I say are amazing. However, in trying to put together some of the things for my own work and my own business, it has been rather amazing. I actually took one of my podcasts here, which I kind of, I just talk. Um, and of course, very simple. It's recorded. I put that into an AI transcriber, and guess what happens? Within 3 or 4 minutes at the most, uh, it is fully transcribed and even translated. So I actually have, without writing, just by talking, I have a transcript of what I was talking about. That's really helpful. But then what I did is I took it to the AI and I said, this is kind of a rambling conversation. Obviously, it's not proper English. And so I asked it to take the same things, but clean me up, you know, uh, make it so it is sharper, more concise, more helpful. Make it so that it's not just a transcript of me talking. Put it into a first person article, something that I can send to others in which there are no typos. The punctuation is always right. The grammar is perfect. The writing style is friendly, casual, and engaging. Take away all of the superfluous stuff that is not necessary and make it fit for publication. So then, not only do I have a program, I actually have an article that I can send or write for others. Bingo. 2 minutes. In fact, it is an improvement. I'm saying that's even better than what I did. And then I said, since I have this, now will you create a picture to illustrate my article? And they did. And it was amazing. And so my work is getting much easier, and I'm going to be much better and more effective in my work of trying to help people do what I want them to be able to do, is to live better now. And that I, as a broadcaster, as a business performance coach, as a writer, as a speaker, as a presenter, as someone who's trying to understand the world and know what to do, uh, I'm going to be able to do that. In fact, I was greatly surprised. About 23 years ago, I wrote a book, one of my first. It was pretty good, and it was it was a marketing book on how to market yourself. Well, it sold a bit. It was no bestseller. Didn't make a lot of money on it, but it was part of my business and helped me get gigs and things like that. But it's been out of print for a long time. Still has some good stuff in it, but it basically needs updating. And so, just for fun, what I did is I wrote in, and you see, this is what you have to learn to do. You have to learn how to talk to the AI. You have to learn how to prompt it, as it says. You have to know tell it what to do, because it'll ask you, what to do. You make sure you tell it all the information. And so I told AI that I would like a 1,000 word summary of the book by Stan Houston called You Make the Difference, a performance marketing guide for financial advisors. I mean, I was doing a lot of work in the insurance and financial investing industry, coaching them, had many of my clients in that industry, and I got pretty good at it. Click, boom. And I knew it's going to come back and say, what's that? No records. I mean, it's a book I wrote, a few thousand copies, out of print. 2 minutes later, page and a half, found the book, summarized it wonderfully, beautifully, perfectly. In fact, it is an incredible sales piece for my old book. something that I could probably never come up with myself. And if I could or would, it would take me many, many hours of work. And of course, I don't have to copy edit it. I don't have to send it to a proofreader. Um, it's just there. And all of that has happened. So we're hopefully going to add to the services of What It Takes Radio, which is the podcasting, publishing, and performing business. Because AI is changing everything about broadcasting, publishing, book writing, and communication. In effect, it's going to change everything about that. And so we have to be aware of that. Now, unfortunately, they also had a demonstration yesterday in which they had fake work done with transformation, and it had pictures of Donald Trump doing all kinds of things that he hasn't done. Now, they weren't bad things, they were all good things. But you know what? The pictures with the Photoshop, with the AI, they were able to create pictures of him doing things that he hadn't done. There we go. The good, the bad, the ugly. But maybe if those of us who have a sense of ethics, character, and spirit can learn how to do it right, maybe it could be something that can make for a better world, a better life, maybe even a bit of a different world. If those of us of good hearts, good spirits, and good angels, and seeking the spirit force of goodness in this world, if we can find that kind of transformation in our own lives, maybe this will help us to make some very vital transformations in our world, maybe the world, maybe in our own lives in ways that are truly amazing. Amazing grace might happen as we go into the transformation zone. I hope you'll join me. We'll see what will be. All the best and blessings. Till then, bye for now.